for Mr. Brian Mallard.
Thanks, Jim. Okay, are you guys as nervous as I am? Because I'm really nervous, I have to tell you that right now. 18 minutes is not a lot of time, so I'm going to kind of get at this right away. I noticed how, right off the bat, I noticed how great the previous three speakers looked. And, you know, I'm from Saskatchewan, formerly the People's Republic of Saskatchewan. Not so much anymore. Anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, good Lord, I hope I've got my tie on straight. Oh, Jesus. I hope I've got my pocket flaps out. Oh, Jesus, I don't have that. And I hope my fly's done up. It wasn't. So, just saying. So, with that, I thought we would start off and talk a little bit about these 10 ideas. First thing I learned in 1973 was that I was hired to fail. I was hired in October. My manager needed a bonus. I had long hair and looked like hell, and it was pretty much I was there for the money, his. So I learned something right away. How do you look? Looks matter. A casual appearance communicates a casual attitude. I really hate casual Fridays because they become sloppy Saturdays. I like, you know, people that kind of dress up. Irv Sawatsky, one of the guys who'd been in the office for 20 years, pulled me aside and he said, son, here's how it is in this business. This is a tough business. You've got one chance to make a good impression and you better not blow it. And he says, there's one thing you gotta not do, and that's look like you're gonna steal the money. And he said, you look like you're gonna steal the money. I kind of did, actually. I had long hair, I owned one suit jacket and 2 dress shirts and a dress pair of pants, and that was it, and I wore that every day. I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't come from a background that was particularly affluent. So he told me to go get a haircut and get a new suit. So I got a tailor-made suit for 85 bucks and a haircut for $2. It was the best $87 I've ever spent. I can tell you that right now. First impressions matter. First impressions say more about you than what you're going to say about you in the next 20 minutes. They really matter. People want to know what you know. Okay, that's kind of an important phrase. So, what do I mean by that? People don't want to know what we know. They want to know that we know what we know. That's why you've got to get designations. They really count, because the evidence that you know what you know, they really matter. Get some. Quality CE is important as well. This business about getting CE online or whatever, I'm so proud of you people for being here today. Give yourselves a hand. Really. Become an expert in your chosen area. You know, in 1975, I went to a sales congress, and there were 4 speakers coming through, and one of them really sticks in my mind, a guy by the name of Charlie Flowers. He was from Marshall, Texas, and he had a real thick Texan accent. He was a little guy like me, except he was a big guy this way, every which way. Anyway, Charlie was talking about and introduced as an insurance expert. And he said in his thick Texas drawl, he said, I am not an insurance specialist. I am an annuity specialist. And sort of what? And he said, one of my clients phoned me the other day, and he said to me, he said, Charlie, do you sell annuities? And I said, I sure do. I didn't know what the hell an annuity was, but I would sell him one. Turns out he wanted a $6 million annuity, and I sold it to him, and I made $180,000, and nobody had to pee in a bottle. I love that story, man. I think of it every day. Be the client. You have got to be the client. Get to know your client so you can really think like they think and feel like they feel, but you do it through the lens of your education and your experience. Your client doesn't want your solution. He wants your knowledge and experience applied to their situation. That's what they're looking for. You know, I have been at this business a long time, 40 years, and I've had probably 5 different jobs. I've done selling life insurance. I helped start an MGA. I started a mutual fund dealership. I helped start a Sante, and on it goes. Some people say I just can't keep a job, but that would just be not true. There's a theme through it all, though. I think you have to be a planner. What I learned right away in the life insurance business people seem to not like life insurance. And they would tell me, they would say, I don't like life insurance. I don't believe in life insurance. And I would say to them, if life insurance was free, how much would you take? And of course the answer was, well, it's not free. And I said, well, I know that, you know that, but what if it was free? How much would you take? And I'd get an answer. You know, remember, this is the 70s. Sometimes it'd be 100,000, sometimes it'd be $500,000. For really big thinkers, it would be $1 million. $1 million of life insurance. And I would look them square in the eye and I would say, well, you know what, you're right, it isn't free. But I'm willing to bet that I can go through your finances and I can find the premium in things that you're doing that aren't efficient, and it'll feel like it's free. Always remember this, feelings count more than the intellectual exercise. Feelings are what really motivate people to do what they need to do. It's that feeling. So I'm going to help them feel that way. Why do you want to be a planner? Well, surprise, surprise, that's what customers and clients want. Studies have shown, when asked, what do you expect from an advisor relationship, they want a written plan. They want that written plan because, in essence, the person who's sitting opposite them is really getting to know them. I may have mentioned that before. Now, being a planner doesn't mean you take down the data and you go back to your office and you sit in a darkened room pulling the shades and you come up with a plan that's your plan, and then you go back and you present it to the client. That's not being a planner. Because now you've got to make another sale. You've got to sell the client on your solution. And you really don't want to have to go back to your office and pull the blinds and do it again if they don't buy from you your solution. So in 1992, I had made a decision to change, as my little grandson would say, change my life, which is another story. And I'd met a guy named David Gobiel, and I'm sure some of you in the audience remember David. He wrote a Lotus 123 program, which was called the Canadian Retirement Planner. And I bought this thing, and I looked it over, and I thought, you know, I bet you some of my clients would love this. And I had another friend of mine who was at the university, was a math guy, and kind of a geek like me. And so I'm telling him about this on the phone. And I said, would you mind, you know, can we go over this together? I just want to know what you think. And he said, sure, no problem. Came up and started putting in his own data, elbowing me out of the way, typing it in, talking to me. Where does this go? Where does that go? I'd never seen a client so engaged, ever, ever. There was like an aha moment. I learned right off the bat, you had to engage the client in the process. We take the data from the client and put it right in the software. Today's software is amazing. It is a fact finder with a solutionizer at the end. It makes the job so easy, it's unbelievable. There are 3 characteristics in clients that I look for. I look for them to be responsible, I look for them to be trusting, and I look for them to be intelligent. What do I mean by intelligence? They got to be smart enough to know that they can't do what I do. Responsible means they care about somebody else other than themselves. Delegating means that they can trust other people. If you achieve all of that, you become the trusted advisor. It's very important. You have to be creative. I love this quote from Charlie Mingus. Creativity is more than just being different. Anybody can plan weird. That's easy. What's hard is to be as simple as Bach. Making the simple awesomely simple, that's creativity. Good advisors present solutions to problems. Great advisors present simple solutions to complex problems. We sell dollars when you will need them most for pennies today. That's Ben Feldman, man. He had 1 million of those sayings, and they were so concise and so exact. If you haven't read Ben Feldman's Ben Feldmanisms, go back and do it. They're unbelievable. Fly the concepts at 38,000 feet, but drive the details very slowly at ground level. 2 rules that I follow quite. Be prepared. Well, we learn from our failures and celebrate our victories. My daughter's a weightlifter, which is kind of an odd occupation given her educational background. And on Saturday, she was at the national championships. And you have 6 lifts, right? 3 snatches and 3 clean and jerks. And she failed on 3 of them, and she succeeded on 3 of them. And she came back afterwards, and you know what all she talked about? Her failures and what she did wrong, because she has to correct them. She didn't pay any attention to her victories. We're always celebrating our victories. We're never celebrating our failures. That's where we learn. Imagine you're the client. Anticipate their fears and desires. Your clients came to you because they had one question in their mind. Am I going to be okay? Is my family going to be okay? Is my business going to be okay? And you know what? The reason they're there, they can't answer it. Because things are too complicated for them to figure it out themselves. They don't want to be financial planners. They don't want to be financial advisors. They want to be associated with somebody that's a professional, that can give them the answers, and does so in a credible manner. So, be accountable. You know, our business is a funny business. Mistakes happen. Here's what you do when you have a mistake happen. You take ownership and you make it right. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Let me fix that for you. What you don't want to do is deny it and blame. Listen, it really wasn't me. It was that guy over there, and you should be giving him hell. If you do that, you're going to have a bad result. You're going to lose trust, you're going to lose credibility, and you're going to lose your client. It's as simple as that. Be flexible. When I decided to accommodate Lawrence Geller and come and make this talk, I said, Lawrence, what on earth would people want to come and hear me for? You know, really, I'm this little guy from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, who wears a pool hat in his spare time and cheers for the Rough Riders. But why? And he said, because you are resilient. I had to go look the word up. Resilient. Wow. So be flexible comes under it. Here's a couple of rules. First of all, life is hard, and it's generally unfair. Those are the rules. Get over it. By 1977, this is the tough part of this talk, and I really debated about... Anyway, by 1977, I'd started to achieve a certain level of success in this business. I'd qualified for conference, sold 75 lives in a year. I was feeling pretty good about myself. On April the 18th of 77, I woke up, beautiful spring day, went to the office, was having breakfast with some of my colleagues, and one of the office people came down and said, Brian, you have to go home. My 6-year-old son had died in his sleep. Hardest day of my life. In many ways, I felt like I was drowning for the longest time. And finally, a wise man said to me, you're a very lucky man. People can generally only imagine the worst thing that could happen to them. You've got that experience. You have a point of reference, because every other thing that goes wrong in your life, you're going to be able to stand up and say, is this as bad as that? There's an old saying that says, that which does not kill me makes me stronger. I suppose it does. Here's a couple of things that have happened to me. I'm deaf in this ear. Big deal, right? Hardly anybody even knows that. I'm blind in this eye. I've still got this one. Both of those events, for many people, would be quite traumatic. For me, it was just like, you know, it's no biggie. About 3 years ago, they found a tumor inside me that was larger than your thumb. It was shedding pieces into my bloodstream. It was in my heart. And I had to have emergency open heart surgery, and I damn near died. And I asked myself the question, is this worse than what I went through before? And I thought, pretty goddamn close, I'll tell you that much. When the Mutual Fund Dealers Association, the Saskatchewan Financial Services Commission, and my former company, Asante, decided to take the word of a drug-addicted, bipolar liar and a thief over mine, came in and tried to ruin my life, ruin my company, and destroy the people that I worked with, I had to contemplate and say, is this the worst thing that could happen? Yeah, to them. They had no idea what they were up against. I fought that battle for 10 long years. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to defeat those people, because the one thing I know about the regulators, they don't like us. They really don't like us. They think we don't add any value to society, and they are fundamentally wrong. And we have to stand up at every opportunity and show them that they're wrong. So, a couple of things there, just some quotes that I like to go on about. Be humble. You know, your failures will always outnumber your successes. If it's really worthwhile, somebody else is going to recognize it for you. You don't have to stand up and say, dig me. People like that aw shucks kind of attitude. They're drawn to that. When you say, look at how great I am, they're repulsed by that. You want to push them away? You know, carry a mirror around and look in it all the time. Be honest. Honesty is a very difficult characteristic. I love this phrase. A lie is halfway around the world by the time the truth gets its shoes on. There's a lot of truth to that statement, I can tell you that. It's always amazing to me when newspapers and other entities really publish a lie, and when they do a retraction, it's on page 19. Liars need good memories. I just don't have. I'm 62, for heaven's sakes. I can't remember it. When a client says, am I going to be okay? For heaven's sakes, answer it honestly. Tell them. Tell them it isn't, and tell them how to fix it. It's the only way to fix it. Be generous. I have 1 minute and 38 seconds, so this is going to be fast. When Barack Obama, who was one of the most disappointing presidents in my life, stood up and said, if you own a small business, you didn't build that, I was offended. But then I thought about it and thought, you know what? He's probably right. Government didn't build it with me. The people that I work with built it with me. I didn't build it, we did. You didn't build it, y'all did. Recognize and celebrate the people that you work with. Do it every day. Don't ever say that this person works for me. They work with you. That one little word will make a huge difference in their life and in yours. Those who give always get more. There's no limit to what a man can do or where he can go if he doesn't mind who gets the credit. That's from one of the most inspirational presidents in my life. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for having had this opportunity. I really hope today goes just great for you, but I really, really hope that the rest of the days go even better. Thank you so much.